SnapToCover.com. We always snap to cover.
Hey guys, Tobin here from SnapToCover.com. I want to bring you a quick learning and doing devlog. So I've been doing a lot of research this week, both in game design and in the Victorian era. I watched a couple videos on the Industrial Revolution just to get an idea of exactly how things worked back then, and kind of how that shaped society. And then I did a lot on how the industry handles level design. So tackling that, one of the things they talked about were very modular buildings. So if we look at these, for example, they're the exact same size on the bottom. It's just the levels of the building itself change. So we've got a different roof on this one than this one, but basically they're all the same. And if we click and hit snap to grid on these, I can actually take this one and drag it over. Oh, hit snap to grid on this one. There we go. And then they snap together perfectly, which allows me to make full city streets that go together a whole lot easier than if everything was a different shape and size. Again, this one can do the same thing. I can drag this one over. Let's bring it over to this side. And then I've got another building. So you can really make dynamic streets this way. Another thing that they talked about doing was, besides making things that are modular and easily placeable inside your editor, was a great lecture by Epic Games. They have a YouTube video where they basically are at a conference discussing their Unreal Engine, which is another video game engine that they make. But the concepts that they were talking about could be used in any kind of game. And so that's what I kind of started to do this week. Was I took a step back from this, where I have each individual window frame done and the texture done and all of these building accents sticking out. The roof, I got the interior wall and everything. Tackling something like that is, with all these different building types that I want to do, is just going to be too much. So what I did was I started to follow their process. And process number one, or step one in the process, was to make basic primitive shapes. No textures, no windows, no doors, just the building itself. You got the basic volume of the building, if you can think of it that way. And what I can do with this is, between these and the roads that I want to have, I can, oops, it's the wrong key. I can get an idea for how this city is going to come together. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button. No, I want the red arrow. Give me the red arrow. And so I can put down the roads, and I can put down the buildings, and I can see if there's any parts of the city that just look boring. I could even add barrels at this point if I wanted to, but I think right now I'm just going to keep it very standard. Then step two in the process will be to go through and add the holes in the building for the windows and the doors and a couple of the accents. So maybe I'll make the roof stick out a little bit over the edge. Play around with, where things are supposed to go. Then in the third phase, once I have that done, I can actually start adding the textures, and I can start adding back these window panes to it, and start to get a feel for what the mood of the level should be. Then at the next phase, I'll start adding particle effects. So there's going to be big factories with smokestacks, so I'll have smoke coming out of them. A lot of these chimneys are going to have smoke coming out of them, because there wasn't really heaters back then, so people use their fireplaces. So you're going to have, each of these buildings usually would have had a fireplace with chimney smoke coming off, maybe a fire on the inside of the fireplace. So I'll start adding in that kind of effect. And then once that's done, then I can start worrying about any minor details, like if I want to tweak the color of a texture or change the lighting in the scene, go here, and maybe it's nighttime. If I want to play with nighttime instead of dark, daytime, I can maybe set it as a a dark blue color for the lighting instead of white. That's my light right there. And then I can change the skybox and maybe change the intensity once I bring it down to nighttime. Maybe the lights don't work as well, so I can go through and tweak those. But by then I should have a really nice looking city that's interesting to walk around in, and start adding some of those finer details like barrels and store signs and awnings and things like that. So it's definitely going to be a process, but this is the first step, is just creating these boxy elements. I started creating some street segments that I can quickly place. So adding these will be a lot easier than adding individual buildings like this. And then I created, instead of just the regular road square, I created these long road segments. So again, it's going to make it easier to put these down than it will be if I didn't have these. I can snap this and pull back. And there you have it. Oh, one other thing. So I got really tired even having the ability to do things like this. I got really tired on Sunday, and I was a little frustrated because I was trying to take on the entire city at once. And what I've realized now is that that was stupid. That I should really be creating small blocks and kind of giving it a rest for a little bit and then coming back and doing more, just so I don't burn myself out. I think I worked on it for like 8 hours yesterday and then 8 hours on Saturday as well, late into like 2 a.m. And it's a lot to try and place all these down, which is why I have nothing here. I was actually playing around with the next feature I'll show you, which is my environment world generator. So I wrote a script to take care of it for me, but I don't like it, and I'll show you why. So let's turn it on, and then we'll hit play. First off, it takes a while to load. It basically has to figure out where to place each individual tile for the roads, which annoys me. I don't like waiting to play. Oh, I forgot. I deleted my character. Let's just add him back real quick. Alright, so we got my first person guy. We'll add him to the terrain. Slide him this way. And we'll hit play this time. Alright, so again, it's got to rebuild, which makes the overall process of playing and tweaking and seeing if things are working kind of slower. At least when I'm doing it the other way, it's very iterative, and I'm playing around with the game the entire time, and it's more fun to do. This is faster to get roads down. You can see it's built out all of these roads, and they all have intersections, but they're very boxy. They're all the same shape and height and width, and it doesn't have that personal feel that I want a game to have. I want to have variety, and I want it to be an interesting place to be. And doing it this way just doesn't give it that. I could play around with the numbers of when I draw each road, but it just wouldn't feel, I don't know, it just wouldn't feel right to me. And then I can play around with, randomly picking a building, but I think it'll be better if I pick out where I want the grassy areas to be, and if I want to do curved roads, I can play with those, which is a little something that's hard to do with the math that's taken to build this out. So it's cool. It was a cool project to at least try out, and maybe I'll use the script in another game if I decide to make another one. But I think for now, I'm going to just worry about creating a small block, build it out, and then I'll create another one and another one and another one, and eventually I'll have my entire city. So that's the plan for the next week or two, or more. We'll see how long it takes. I am off work this week, so that is pretty cool. So it'll give me a little more time to play around with making my game. And yeah, I think that covers all of it. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends. You can follow us on Facebook. You can see all the oops, this way. You can see all of the different ways of contacting us over there. You can also visit us at SnapToCover.com. That's with the number 2. But until next time, always snap to cover, guys.
SnapToCover.com. We always snap to cover.